they've worked really well all pre-season, but I've just sensed the focus starts to narrow this week, and obviously players become that wee bit more anxious in terms of whether they're going to play or not going to play. But as always, the quality's been outstanding, and the effort has matched that. So now the big game will come for us Saturday, and I'm really looking forward to it. For my first day in here and to where I stand now in relation to the group, I'm delighted, and I know there's a lot more growth and there's a lot more progress to be made, and but in relation to what I'd wanted to achieve over the course of pre-season, it's been that and more, to be honest. So one of them ones where I'm pleasantly surprised that the mentality, I spoke to Steve Cobble during the week. I spoke to him a couple of times, but I wanted to pay respect to him again and say, listen, a big thanks, Steve, because you've left me a great group of players, and they've obviously all very willing to learn, which is great, and that gives me a great foundation to build from. For me, as I said, I want to ensure that the Medeski Stadium is the longest 90 minutes that an opponent has when they travel away from home. So as I said, it's one that we're really looking forward to. It's a tough game, it's a tough start with a number of games, but it's a great challenge, and that's the challenges you want, the ones that stretch you to every capacity to be at your best, and certainly Saturday that'll be a real good game for us. Obviously Reading lost towards the end of the season 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. I was fortunate enough when I was at Watford towards the end of the season, we played and we had the reversal, we won 2-1, so that'll be a different game, I'm sure, to the two games, but it will be tough, but our players are ready. Great focus on the game, and obviously the games after that. There's certainly a number of players that are in it that I feel are certain starters, but because of, you're always looking, with all due respect, on if you're getting one or two players in or if you're not. But certainly the balance now is in my mind in terms of where I'm looking and what I'm looking to play on Saturday.
Would you say where that balance is kind of tipping? Where do you need to strengthen most?
I still feel we need a goal scorer.
Yeah.
I like to play high up the pitch. I think that it's very important that you have a player that can penetrate in behind, and I think we've got all players that can do that. So if you look at all our front players here, Shane Long, Noel Hunt, Simon Church, they can all do that, fantastically well, which is great, and especially when you go away from home, you need that pace and that power to get in behind. But I feel a lot of times, and in the modern game as well, you need someone who can play between the lines, and at the moment we've only got Dave Mooney really that can do that role, so you need someone who can play in the spaces in between, especially at home where teams will come and sit in, so there's no space in behind, so you can't kick the ball long, so you have to work your opening, and that player I'm still looking to bring in. I've said to the players we have to show self-confidence and ambition, and don't be frightened to talk about promotion, because that's what we want to dream of, but at the same time, we're realistic as well, and we understand we have a young group. We've got top young players, got some very good players with hopefully one or two more to come in. So the most important thing for me is that come the end of the season that we're in the position that we want to be in, and as I said, if that means we have a good start, we have a good start. If it doesn't, then we'll work hard every game to improve our position. I'm very optimistic as a person and as a coach, so my own expectation is to be certainly up in and around the playoffs, and why not? We've got a terrific group here. We've lost Kevin Dodd, but we hope to look to maybe bring in one or two, add it with the quality that's here. So for me, I've got no, I'm not frightened to say that, to promote that confidence. For sure it's going to be tough, it's going to be a real hard season, there's many things that will happen over the course of the season, but I think in this moment, we're sitting talking about our goals and our targets, and every player wants to get out of this league, and I think with the quality that we have here, we have hopefully a more than good chance to do that. But it's going to be tough because there's big clubs and clubs that will have spent a lot of money where the expectations are greater. But for myself, the players and the supporters, we have a new level of supporter, a new group of supporters that have only known success at Reading. Some of us go back to when it was at Ellen Park, when there was 3,000 people there, in Division 3. But the idea now is to fight to get into those promotion places and at worst case scenario. So that is the fight that we set out on our first journey. For where I hope to want to take the club, I like players to be able to play football. They need to have. If you look at a team, you need a makeup of artists and soldiers for me, and your defenders need to be able to defend first and foremost. But I then like them to play football. I like them to play football, and this is a boy that can play football. He's comfortable with the ball at his feet. I just think that when you've got possession of the ball, everyone is a football player. You have to be able to deal with the ball. And then when you haven't got it, everyone's a defender. You must work as a group in the structure of your team to get the ball back. So he's a player that he's strong defensively. Anyone that's seen him, and he's obviously been linked heavily with the bigger clubs, and he's obviously chosen to come to here, which is great. But I also think it's where we're trying to go as a club, and trying to look to the future as well, because he's still got a lot of development. But he's a player with big potential, and his qualities are obviously defensively, but offensively he can deal with the ball, which is important for me. He's been training obviously at Doncaster. He's had an operation, he's been back. He's only played 45 minutes over the course of pre-season, so we're just assessing him over a few days, and then we'll have a look at it from there. But it was his first session this morning. You can see that he's a good mover and passes the ball like a midfield player, and he obviously defends well. So have a look at it over the course of the next couple of days. But he's certainly not one that I brought in to sit on the bench.